We open March 1, we close March 1. I always tell small business owners this, like, it's the long game. You're in a regional area, you're not gonna make $1 million overnight. It's about creating community. Yeah. Luckily we were ready because in one day we did 700 orders. The fires hit and everyone shut. And we were sitting with all this stock, and I'm talking $50,000 worth of green coffee. I'll say this a lot, but I love community. I love interactions and like that real hospitality. Sitting on a lot of stock, owing a bunch of bills, not knowing when we're gonna reopen, to selling $250,000 on online retail in a month. And I learned everything there was to know about local council, the way it worked. There were staff at council who crossed fire lines to get water going again. I think small business needs certainty. What is going on? Is this a gorilla? With every single decision, someone's affected and isn't happy. And she walks me down the hallway and she's like, here's your office. And it's got like a sign that says mayor on it. Because most of the decisions we make aren't affecting tomorrow. It's affecting our children. If you push positivity, you get it. I tell people you'll often find me at 2 a.m. in the roastery. Go all in and do something that you love doing. She literally was like, here's your office. I'll be down in mine. I think it's important that you continue to be in touch and nothing changes.
I'm Shelby.
And I'm Em.
You're listening to the For Founders Sake podcast.
For fuck's sake.
Where we share the highs, lows, and lessons of business.
We'll dive into our own experiences and sit down with other founders to learn from their journeys too.
Real talk.
Real stories.
For founders by founders.
For fuck's sake. Because that's something we say a lot. Before we jump into today's episode, we want to share something that we are genuinely excited about. A brand new bar is opening soon in Maria. Bar Something. Created by a group of highly educated hospitality pros, Bar Something is being built with serious intention. From day one, they're meticulous about setting the scene, the lighting, the music, the energy, all the little details that make a place feel right from the moment you walk in. This is going to be the kind of bar you can rely on. Somewhere to meet friends for a drink, head out on a date, or celebrate a milestone birthday. A space designed for conversation, connection, and community. Not rushing, not yelling over the noise, just genuinely good company. It's going to be something completely new for the area and we're here for it. We're going to tease their opening day within this episode. However, if you want to keep up to date with the official date and opening event, you need to head to their Instagram and give Bar Something a follow. Don't worry, we'll link them in the show notes so you don't miss that announcement. Before we dive in, can you do us a quick favor? Hit follow, give us a rating, or whatever your streaming platform asks for you to show us some love. It helps more founders like you find the show and keeps us climbing the ranks. Today's guest is someone who wears a lot of hats, and we mean a lot. We're joined by Matt Hatcher, the Mayor of the Eurobodalla Shire Council, a local business owner, and a dad juggling it all in a very public role. In this episode, we do talk about local politics, but not in a way you might expect. We get into how Matt deals with criticism, negative comments, and confrontational moments, especially in Facebook groups where things can get heated and personal very quickly. He shares how he handles the pressure and what he's learned over time, and how he keeps perspective when the noise gets loud. We also unpack how local government actually works behind the scenes, what Matt believes small businesses really need right now, and how many different roles he's balancing day to day. And yes, there's even a little bit of tea spilled about the opening and location of a new bar coming to the area, Bar Something. Most importantly, we talk about the human side of it all, how he juggles leadership, business, and being a present dad all at the same time. Don't be scared off by the political side of it all, because it's a very open, honest, and raw conversation around leadership, resilience, community, and wearing many, many hats. And we think you're really going to get a lot out of it. We won't keep you waiting any longer. Let's get into the chat with Matt. Welcome to the podcast, Matt.
Thank you.
Thanks for
having
coming
me.
on.
Thanks for letting me be the first guy as well.
Yeah, this is super exciting.
Representing the males.
We need more males.
We do. Any men out there that
we're not sexist. Like,
No,
you
we're
could
not.
come join the
I'll send you a list
couch.
of both, actually. But I got heaps of great local business owners.
Yeah, there's heaps.
Yeah.
Heaps we can chat to.
Yeah.
So the first question we always start with, what's your biggest for fuck's sake moment that you've had in your career or business? I should say businesses to date.
I'm sure most people will say there's heaps. Mine was probably the biggest thing that always draws back and it's probably because of the fires were so impactful on everyone. I had Guerrilla Roasters, and we had sort of just started we were just about a year into the business, and we were gearing up, sort of transitioning from being a hobby to a real business, and we're still kind of a hobby, we think. And so November of 2019, we buy up a lot of green coffee, like more than we'd ever bought, pallets of it, because we were gearing up for a big summer. And at the same time, earlier that year, I had gone into a partnership with two other guys locally, and we bought a block of land up on the Hawkesbury River, and we were building a lodge up there together. And so everything was sort of happening, these massive projects all at once. And the idea for the lodge was it would open just before Christmas. The fires hit northern New South Wales sort of November-ish, started getting smoke, so we delayed that, which any delays in building and things cost money. I was back here, and we couldn't work on site up there, so I was back here, and we started gearing up big time for our first real big summer. A bunch of new accounts. We purchased a lot of machinery, tens of thousands of dollars worth of gear. And then the fires hit and everyone shut. And we were sitting with all this stock, and I'm talking $50,000 worth of green coffee that we couldn't roast. No one was open, no one was taking it. And so the bills are obviously mounting up because the people you buy from, your suppliers, want their pay, and we had no income. And days after the fires hit, everything here was pandemonium. And pretty quickly I transitioned from working in my business to bushfire recovery, and didn't go back into business for 18 months. Sort of stepped away from it basically, and I did little bits here and there, and my business partner and friends and people stepped up for me and sort of jumped into my business and sort of helped him run it alongside little touch points with myself. But our suppliers came to the party and were like, we see what's happening with you. We want to support you. Don't pay your bills for months.
Oh, wow.
And then we went viral on this Instagram campaign with Turia Pitt, the Spin With Them, and that just changed our business forever. And did global visa ads and all sorts of things that just came out from that. But instantly we went from in massive debt as a business, sitting on a lot of stock, owing a bunch of bills, not knowing when we were going to reopen, to selling, $250,000 on online retail in a month. And we now had all this money. We had never sold that much coffee.
Oh God, a lot of coffee,
and
right?
the flow onto that was, what was so beautiful about it was we were able to go to our cafes that had purchased beans and also didn't have any trade and couldn't pay us and say, don't pay your bills. So there was just like great flow onto all of them, and goodwill that they're all still with us, and just this like beautiful transition from, for fuck's sakes, this is going to ruin us. And how do you dig out of something like that? To where not only we were supported by the wider community in Australia that bought coffee from us, but we were able to support all the local small businesses as well. So it's great. But some daunting weeks in there and months, after that as well. Absolutely.
And then obviously off the back of the fires came COVID.
So I guess that for fuck's sakes moment continues, that the lodge on the Hawkesbury, we weren't able to open because of the fires. They got pushed back to March. We opened March 1, we closed March 1 because of COVID. And then we stayed closed for 3 months. And then we reopened, we're open for 2 or 3 weeks, had to close again because we had an outbreak. And we had 7 closures of that business over the next 12 to 18 months as well. So,
and just how do you pick yourself up and go again when it's just like constant, like, oh no, not that, no, you closed again, no.
It's always, I say we're lucky, it's definitely not luck. There's just this constant buy-in of, I always tell small business owners this, like, it's the long game. You're in a regional area, you're not going to make $1 million overnight. It's about creating community and working with community. And I think we preach a lot about supporting local business and working with local businesses and things, but it's so important that you really do that, and that's your message, because of the way that we've interacted with other businesses and collaborated and bought candles from local businesses. I've always looked at ways I can work with someone at all times to do a project, because it brings another community into your business that isn't normally looking at you, whether that's someone who's looking for a candle, or right now I'm working with a local artist who's a teacher at the local school, and she's providing some new artwork for our bags, and we're going to do an art series where we feature different local artists, and percentages go back to the local community, arts grants and things like that. And we've just always been, I guess because we started as a hobby and not needing to make money for the business, it it was just a side hustle, that anything that came out of it was just a bonus, and we did it out of pure passion. So we were always looking for fun ways to keep ourselves interested, and we've just been able to grow that on a larger scale.
And then I guess when you're trying to pick yourself up in those hard times, if you are backed by community, it's not just you. It's everyone.
That's right. And we have so many sort of ambassadors of our business that there's just so many I can think of, where during the fires, when we sold thousands of orders, online orders overnight. Like it went from, we sold 20 in our first year. Like I didn't even want a website when we started. I told my business partner Lewis, I said, there's no point. We're just going to sell. We're just roasting for ourselves. He goes, let's do one. So we did it. And luckily we were ready, because in one day we did 700 orders. It was complete viral nuts. And
was it actually a bit scary?
It was scary because I literally wasn't in the business. I mean, I was watching it and seeing it unfold.
During the bushfires, you were very much focused on the aid and getting help to the area, supplies to the area.
Well, that came about because right place, right time, right person. Because I'd worked in coffee and hospitality industry, I knew a lot of people just from making coffees. And so when things happened and you needed to ring someone, I had their number, because they probably had bought coffee off me at some stage.
And you knew that they needed a note.
And I knew they would answer, because they probably thought I was going to bring them a coffee. And it kind of just snowballed into, well, hey, can you help us? And literally the whole thing happened because a truck rang my wife, strangely, that was on the way to the Shire, and said, because she's on Tomican Association, so she was the secretary, and they lived in somewhere else in Australia, and they rang and said, we're sending goods to the Shire. The comms were down everywhere, as we all know. And somehow she had an email or something that said, there's a truck coming, it'll be there in 4 hours. Can you tell them where to stop? They didn't even know where to drop the goods. So she said, the Tomican servo is closed, just drop it there. And this truck showed up and dumped 40 pallets of goods, and people were just going nuts for it. And the guy said, there's another truck coming. And so she rang me and said, can you help? And I rang Jamie from SCWF in Bateman's Bay, and he was one of my customers, my coffee van business that I also had at the time. And I said, hey mate, I put it on Facebook, any chance anyone's got some spare warehouse space? And he rang me, said, I'm in Bali, my mom will give you the key, you can dump stuff there, I don't need it for a couple of weeks. Cool, one truck. Done. We did it, and then they just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming, and it was hundreds of trucks by the end.
It really showed like the generosity.
Oh, completely.
Which was so paralleled with weeks later when people were ripping toilet paper out of each other's hands with COVID.
It's the weirdest time hopefully any of us will ever face.
Never again.
I think, pre the fires, I remember coming to Australia in 2002 and coming to the South Coast, and I'll never forget going through Bradley for the first time, and I drove, and there was someone had spray painted Brow Boys on and my wife said, that's the local like young kids, that's what they call themselves, and they hate Canberrans. There's always a fight if Canberra comes to town, and I thought, this is so wacky. Like, what do you mean? There's like a whole city, which is the capital, come here to spend money and throw it at this place in summer, and then you fight them. It was just such a weird concept. And then it's always kind of had this sort of love-hate between Canberra and the coast, even though most people are from Canberra. They retire down here as well. And I lived in Canberra for a long time. I love it. And I love Canberra and I love the coast. And I've always, I think a lot of that's changed now. Yes.
But I'm a convert.
The fires happened. I mean, people of the Canberra community couldn't have done more. I mean, I don't think a lot of people here even know half the things that happened there that benefited here. And the Bondi Surf Club, that club sent millions of dollars worth of goods to the Shire.
Isn't that incredible?
There's some incredible stories that'll probably never get told, but I'm still in touch with the ex-president of the club, because there was so much that whole community up there did for this region that was such a huge support immediately. And every day there was trucks coming down from Bondi Surf Club to this region. And we went from like loving Canberra and loving Australia to like, stay up the mountain. COVID, don't bring COVID,
They've all got COVID.
It was a strange time. I remember there was one, during that COVID period, we were still running goods around the Shire, and I brought a whole van load of just toilet paper. I had this warehouse in Sydney. It was
just get swamped.
We had a 100,000 square metre facility in Sydney that was donated to us, and there was a couple of groups that were just bringing goods to this spot, and then we were bringing them down here, and we brought a van load of toilet paper during COVID, and I stopped at the 7-Eleven at Nowra to get some donuts, some Krispy Kreme. Yeah. It was, midnight or something, and I remember one panel had a window in the back. And people were walking past and looking at it like, this is gold.
I had a clinic in Canberra and I was moving from one premise to the other. And so I had this massive industrial sized box of toilet paper, and it was right at the lockdown where it was like, you can't be seen with toilet paper, especially a lot of it. And my husband's job was to go and move this massive, basically a pallet's worth of toilet paper in the back of his ute from one clinic to the
External.
other. And he was like, this is torture.
It's like a dangerous mission.
Yeah, 'cause you look like you're just hoarding as well. Yeah. Isn't it just crazy when you think back? Wasn't that long ago?
Such a bizarre time.
Yeah.
And now it's funny because if there's like any, the Facebook, what is it now? Like alerts, New South Wales or whatever it is. And there's like a big storm coming or like some event. Everyone just swarms and like panic buys.
Yeah, it's like, do not panic buy toilet paper, please.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
I think we all still have.
We will survive.
I think I've finished my tissue supply.
Finally.
And I had some strange stories. There was this one, Rob Paxavonis, who does Fishing Australia. His mother-in-law lives here locally in the Shire, and they contacted me and like, can you please deliver some toilet paper? She's quite elderly and she couldn't get out of the house, and COVID was sort of at its peak. So I remember dropping Rob Paxavonis' mother-in-law some toilet paper. It was so many weird stories.
But then we like went from toilet paper to something else to something else.
Oh, yeah.
It was like just this ongoing cycle of, you can only buy 2 boxes of Panadol or only one thing of eggs or whatever. Like, it just was ongoing.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre. If we were to be plonked back into that time again, we'd obviously all just be...
I think we would all handle it differently.
We would.
As well. Hopefully.
I don't think we would ever do a lockdown again, though. Like,
I don't either. I think there'd be
mean,
too much pushback.
Too much pushback.
We wouldn't be quite as compliant as
No,
well.
definitely.
All right, stay home, no problem.
Listen, I think if they were throwing $1,000 at everyone again, you'd find a lot of people would happily just stay home. They'd revert right back to it.
Off we go.
Yeah.
How many businesses do you are currently involved
Fingers in. Okay, so I've got Guerrilla Roasters, which has been going just over 8 years now. Mm-hmm. I've got a roastery called Bearded Brewer as well, which we purchased last year as Guerrilla purchased that. So that's based in Nowra. Mm-hmm. So it covers more up the coast. Mm-hmm. I've got a lot of things that I sort of support and help. There's a little kiosk I'm helping the Bateman's Bay Surf Lifesaving Club with, just sort of get them off the ground and going. And, the surf clubs, like a lot of not-for-profits, struggle with how they fund them, marine rescue, all the, I think we don't think about it until we see them selling sausages at Bunnings and question why surf lifesavers are having to sell sausages to raise money. But so much of this stuff is they have to find ways to fund. And I did the Mayor's Charity Bowl this year, and that was, and I chose the Eurobodalla branches, which is 4 of them, and we raised just over 17,000, which is great, but that is a drop in the bucket of what they need. That's a couple of boards for them. Yeah. So it's great, but I'm just trying to raise awareness around the RFS, all these groups that it's so volunteer based, and I think we're at the same time we're getting away from volunteering. We're seeing the trends of younger people aren't volunteering, so just finding avenues for people to sort of become part of the community more, I think is really important. And we really don't want them selling sausages. They need to be saving lives. And I think that's kind of a no-brainer. So if we can find ways to show them, you can run a little kiosk and make money and and also support their local youth, the surf lifesavers, to get them money, skills. They get more registrations, which is key for them as well. So it's about growing the overall membership, that you don't need to be a lifeguard to be part of the club. You can still go down there and support them by, working in their cafe or buying a coffee. There's lots of different ways. And I think if more small businesses in the area looked at that rather than like sponsorship deals, I think sponsorships are tough. And you guys have owned small businesses. I'm sure you've been approached to donate some money to footy clubs and it's always, needed, it's always wanted, and I think all small businesses want to do it, but there's a level where you are a small business, you've only got so much revenue, and you have to look at the return on your investment ultimately. And if you're giving $1,000 for something, you need to be able to get something back for that so that you can keep doing it. And if you don't, then at some point that's going to stop. And that's where a lot of the clubs and things, I think, fall over, is they're run by volunteers. They don't have the time. They're normally only there because they have kids playing. And the same with surf lifesaving. You tend to not go to the surf lifesaving club unless you have a kid at Nippers or you're involved. And I think it's just part of my position is about raising awareness and finding ways to help. Sorry, I'm back to the business question. I do this a lot. There's the great circle, it's called. But it will always come back.
Eventually we'll find out about his other businesses.
I'm trying to think.
We're all filling in our forms to join the...
He's got so many that he can't think of them all.
Forget about supporting my businesses. What else? I've got, I'm opening a wine bar soon.
Where
with a couple
is
of
this?
other
Are we
professionals.
scoop? Like, do we get the tea on this?
I think there's enough of it out there now.
It's in Maria.
It's in Maria.
I'm Maria, but like, where? How? Why? Like,
Listen,
tell us what.
as two young business owners who I know how to use Instagram and stalk, and you haven't worked it out, I'm very proud of that.
I've worked it out.
Oh, okay.
Have you?
Yeah.
So you know where it's
I know
at?
it's in Maria.
It's in Maria.
Oh yeah, but where?
But where?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, see?
Maria's not that big. I'm sure I'll be able to find it.
So it's in the old the pantry shop, right in the middle of town.
Is it shut?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was closed for renos.
It is closer.
It's not wrong.
But not renos of the pantry.
So
there won't be health food anymore. There won't be.
It will be healthy. Healthy gin, healthy cocktails.
Good for the mind.
Very good.
Yeah, I think Maria's got a lot of long-term, I think the whole Shire, to me, the whole Shire is just, it's really going well. Often you hear people will say there's a lot of empty shops and things. I don't know where these empty shops are. Like you can find empty shops in any town, but the village centre is pumping, even though, when you compare the rents there to places in the southern parts of the Shire, it is more expensive, but there's a population base. I think that Maria, with the new hospital coming, it sort of sits in the middle. It's not on the beach like Narooma and Bateman's Bay. So you're going to have lower house prices, but I think there's a great art scene. There's a great community there. It's very different to the other town centres, and I'll say this a lot, but I love community. I love interactions and like that real hospitality. And I'm very lucky to have fantastic business partners who feel the same way. And I think it came about as a desire for something that we want, that we tend to go to Sydney or Canberra or Melbourne and get and go, oh, we wish we had something like this here. And we all say it. And we've got a couple of places like that. Outpost at Browley, Oaks Ranch. There's some great places at Narooma popping up.
We can all drink more though.
in moderation. I think it's good. And we really want to.
Lacking then is like the how we get there, because there's Uber and stuff like that popping up, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny when I first decided to sort of run for public office, people were saying, "Oh, can you bring Uber here?" And it's a global company. But I emailed them. Yeah. Before I was in it, I just emailed them and said, and I got a response that that it's in the works of bringing something further south than Wollongong. And right after I got in, and everyone was like, "Oh, you're so good." Sometimes anyone can just email and get things done. Just going on Facebook doesn't work that. Just commenting on a post. Yeah. So it's not effective somehow. You're kidding. So we do have Uber. I think the problem we have is nobody wants to drive it. They want to be driven. And I kind of thought that we have a great market, that there's a lot of retirees or people that are looking to work a little bit. And I think it's a great sort of thing for someone who might be 60s, 70s. It's a good concept, They have a nice car. They want to talk to people. I'd love to do it for a couple hours a week. And I've asked if I could, but I'm not allowed to.
What's that karaoke?
Yes, I thought that would be a great idea.
The mayor.
So listen, if someone wants to send me an email to say I think the mayor should, I would happily drive for a couple hours a week. Oh my God, I think it would be so fun. Just to get the interaction would be so much fun. But
imagine the drunk chats. Oh, they would really tell you how they felt.
We'd have to have a camera in it.
You have your forms for joining the surf life.
You could be the next one of these in the.
You could be recruiting, you could be spreading the word.
So we will get, I mean, Uber's here.
Yeah, it's here.
We just need to get people who are interested in driving it. And I think that will kind of slowly come with time. Public transport is a tough one. I mean, it's a state-driven, that ultimately it's going to have to be subsidized, which means there's tax money that has to be spent on subsidizing. And we have done some work in that space. They've had some forums down here where we've had great community response, but it hasn't necessarily led to anything other than, the planning stages of it. I do think that we will see that conversation continue, and I'm hopeful that we'll get some funding, but it is a very tough thing. There's no business that wants to do it because it doesn't make money. There's so many little villages, and everyone will want it.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a thing about wanting it and actually doing it.
Yeah.
And I talk to a lot of people. My kids play a lot of sport. I speak to people all the time. And would you take the bus to Bateman's Bay if it was there? I don't think you would. It's a really tough one because I think it's a certain demographic that wants it. It's kind of the young who can't drive.
Yeah.
The older who don't want to, and then there's people in between who kind of just want to be able to use public transport rather than having to commute themselves and pay for cars and things. But I don't think there would be enough of it to get you to where you need to be on time. So it's a tough one.
Do you think too that we've gotten so used to not having it down here, so we're got this
absolutely.
I wouldn't even check the bus.
No,
you never think about it.
No.
And there is a public bus.
It
just doesn't necessarily provide the service that everyone requires. And I say this, and I really do mean it. I think we're probably closer to getting autonomy than we are having a business that wants to drive people around. Autonomous buses are not that far away. We've already got.
But that solves so many problems.
It would,
because then we don't need people to do it.
No,
because we don't businesses. There's not going to be a business pop up that drives buses because it doesn't make money.
No.
Well, you think about the transition into electrified cars, and it's been something that's been coming for a long time. We're now, it was talked about many years ago that by 2030 we'd have these. We're moving that way. Inevitably, it's not going to happen regionally overnight because we don't have the power grid to even. We couldn't all do it if we wanted to. But I think, in another 10 years, all that's changed. Infrastructure's upgraded. More people will move to hybrid, then they'll move to electric, or they'll try it, and it will work for some things and it will not work for others. There's industries that it doesn't work for. My business has looked at using electric vans to do deliveries. It doesn't work. So we'll probably 5 years before it's at a stage where it's affordable and it can do the distances. We've got large distances between everything. So it's just a different market than it is in the city. So we're just not there yet. But, I think the government inevitably will be looking at saying we have to spend our dollars more wisely. Hopefully that's what they're going to be saying. I think that's something all governments should be doing.
Yes.
And how do we get the biggest bang for buck? And is it investing in a infrastructure of electrics and autonomy? And some of that's just going to be painting lines on roads better so that things work, because technology will get there inevitably. It's where do we want to spend the money? Is it on the old school way, or are we going to move forward? I don't know if we even answered a question. What was the question?
No, we're still
completely
just rambling.
We're still trying to figure out how many businesses you have your and
sorry. So I've got the bar. That's bar something.
We've got the kiosk. We've got the two coffee roasting businesses.
Two coffee roasting. Yeah. So bar something, and that's going to be opening. I don't want to give a date because it's going to go. It's going to be later than that. But let's just say, before April. But we're
Easterish.
We are hoping for 3 weeks from now is our plan. But we're waiting on certain things to arrive, which we're very pedantic about every material. So
what's the vibe?
If it gets pushed,
come in, sit down.
It is very much. I find in Australia, overall, a lot of it is, and this is sort of the difference between the way bars are set up in the States. This is stereotypical anyway, is that you go to a bar, you order your drink, and you go away. And in the States, it's you go to the bar and you sit and you talk to the bartender.
Oh, yeah.
And you have interactions with the people you're with, and then, absolutely. So we really want to make it about talking. We want to make it about, we know, firstly with the hospital, you're going to have a lot of people who come here just for the hospital. They're single, or they're here just for a month, locums. We want to have a place where people feel like they can come in and talk. You're matchmaking. You have someone to talk to who's a professional, not just any very well-educated hospitality professionals is what we've got, that are owners in the business. So they're going to be there all the time. And we've got a lot of great relationships relationships with winemakers, distillers, that we're going to have a membership as well as part of like the club that you can, with that, you'll get discounts off everything you buy there, every meal you have, but also you'll get invited to VIP distiller sessions, pop-up events and things like that. So we want to make it focused on community instead of, you know, oh, we're going to close in winter and, you know, like a lot of, our motto will be 3 till 9, 5 days a week, never closing early, always there, rain, hail or shine. You know where you can find us. And so if you want to just come down and have a chat, have a drink, if you want to have your 60th birthday party there or your 18th, it's something, we're going to do a lot of walk-ins, not able to book the whole place out. We want to make it a community place that people feel like they can always just pop in to sort of say hello.
And then you've got the lodge too. Is that still open?
Just sold the lodge.
Oh, you just sold it?
Just sold the lodge in December. So, which is great. 'Cause we had some, just these, you know, fires, COVID, constant issues. We had a sale 2 years ago that fell over. We ended up a big drama with that. Took 6 months to be able to put it back on the market. Got on the market, it sold within a week. Wow. Like it just was turbulent. And being so disconnected from it, living here and having it up there, and it's basically an island. It's a peninsula in the middle of nowhere. You have to take a boat to get there. So it's or a seaplane. So it was very exclusive, very luxurious, great learning. But it's great to have everything I'm doing focused here at the moment, which is,
Quick pause, because if you're listening to this while running on caffeine and vibes, well, same. Just a quick shout out to our friends at Gorilla Roasters, a specialty coffee brand that is all about doing things properly. No fluff, no mass-produced nonsense, just really bloody good coffee. Their beans are ethically sourced, roasted fresh, and made for people who actually care about their coffee. Whether that's your first cup before the school run or the mid-arvo one that gets you through the rest of the workday. We're big fans of brands that back quality, community, and doing business with intention, and Gorilla Roasters ticks all those boxes. So if coffee is part of your daily ritual, not just a habit, go and check them out. But let's get back to Matt.
And obviously, on top of your business stuff, you're also the mayor. So
In case no one's
that sounds like a lot of hats to wear.
A lot of balls to juggle.
Can you take us back to when you decided that role was maybe for you, being the mayor? How did that come about?
Some people will say it's still not for me. So it probably goes back to like 2016, 2015. Even before that, I got approached to join the Chamber of Commerce back before I had a business. I was working in Crumb when I probably met, I think I met you then when I was there, Crumb Cafe in Bait Haven. And I was approached by someone who's been a mentor to me as well, to say, hey, you should join the Chamber of Commerce. I had no idea what a Chamber of Commerce was. I didn't really know anyone. I was pretty new to town. I'd only been here like a year, and I was like, I'll come to your little party, whatever it is. And so I go and I become the vice president that night. I had no business. I don't even know.
What a day.
They might go back and flip all this, because I don't know if I should have even been the chamber. And I've never actually had a business in Bateman's Bay, strangely enough. I've had one in pretty much every other village up and down the Shire. From that, I started making connections, and I think that's when the sense of like, I want to be involved. That's all. I decided by that point, this is it for me. We had our first kid. We had just moved back from Canberra, and I said, this is where I'm going to live and die and retire. It's a very stressful, these balls that I'm juggling. But I just sort of, I guess I saw people constantly complaining about council. It's like either put up or shut up. That was the way I felt about it. So I got involved in chamber, and then I saw the interaction, because I didn't even know what a council did at this stage. I honestly was, classic American in the nicest way possible, to any American viewers out there. But I just had no understanding of what a local council did. I didn't pay rates, I paid rent, so I had no touch points with council. And when I got on chamber, everyone complained about council. And my father-in-law complained about council. Like, that was just kind of the thing that people did, it felt like.
This is what you do.
So I was like, what do they do? And I didn't really know. And we had a meeting with council as chamber, and it didn't go very well, and the relationship was pretty bad at that time with the chamber, and I guess the things that we wanted to do. And that's when I started with the idea that I should get involved. And I was asked by another councillor at the time to run with them. And I decided to go to a meeting. I said yes, and then I ended up getting approached by another councillor saying, hey, you should run with me instead. I changed my mind and went with that councillor, or I was the thinking. I ended up not being able to run in 2016, so I ended up running a campaign for someone. And I learned everything there was to know about local council, the way it worked, how elections worked, and I just became passionate about the system more than the outcomes, I guess. And I really understood through that process that not many people understand how local government works, how elections work. And my wife's grandfather was in Parliament, and so they come from a pretty political family that's always talking politics. And I found that even they didn't know how local council worked and how preferential elections worked. And it was a new concept for me, but I feel like obviously it's not something that's being taught very well in schools or being remembered.
At all.
When I saw the way it worked, I thought, this is genius. The system, the idea behind it. But I don't think people use it to effect quite often. And you can see that with the data, the way it comes in at every election cycle. And that's kind of what, I guess, kickstarted it. Then when the election happened, then I was back to just working in cafes and running my coffee van business at the time. And so I just forgot all about council. Then the fires happened and I got shitty at council because
You jumped on the bandwagon.
I got on the bandwagon because I was like, look at all the stuff that I'm doing. And it wasn't me, and I never like to take credit for it. There was so many people that daily, there was a woman from Queensland who moved here for a year and lived in someone's house in a spare room to just volunteer locally every single day. But I guess I saw how much community, 300 volunteers on the books that were volunteering constantly, people who were just needing to get back to work but also wanting to help the community because they felt like, well, I didn't lose anything, so I want to support the people who did. And I thought, why isn't council doing more? But I regret that now because when a natural disaster happens, the state government comes in and says, get the hell out of our way. You're a local council, So it wasn't their place to be doing it. And in retrospect, it's for me, and if you voted for me, it's great because it pushed me to do what I'm doing. Yeah. But I blame someone that didn't deserve the blame. Ultimately it was what drove me, but that was the good outcome out of it. But they did help. They did step in and do things. When I contacted council, I was like, hey, you know what you could do to help me is send a forklift down just to move these 80 pallets that are sitting in the rain that I'm trying to buy tarps to cover. And they did. So they would do things. And a lot of council staff, when they weren't clocked on, would come and support us and help us because they're community as well. And I think that was something that really stood out to me then. And now that I'm in there looking back at it, was that, we expect, when the water goes off or the power goes down, for someone to get out of bed or leave their house that could be about to burn down to fix our problem, where we were all in the shit. Yeah. There were staff at council who crossed fire lines to get water going again in certain areas, So that's not part of your job. It's just everyone stepped up. And I think we forget that. And they are community as well. You no doubt, someone who works at council, we all do. It's the biggest employer in the Shire. So it's important that we remember that. I think anytime something happens, that we're all part of this community. Yeah. That was, I guess, the big driver. And it was that sort of idea that if I'm gonna live here for 40 years, I'm not gonna sit back and think, oh, bloody council, the pothole, or, the whatever. Yeah. We're so lucky, and the biggest problems we have are those little things that we like to whinge about.
It sounds like we do need a bit of education around, because even yourself, like you're saying, you got to that level, but then you realized from personal experience, actually, I'm not blaming the right people, but that was after a whole lot of education. But I've learned we said, at school, we both went to a school in Australia. There's no. I think you learn about democracy as a whole.
Yes.
But not our specific, system.
They don't even teach you how to vote or
No.
It is. I mean, you ran in the
I've run a couple of times. Yeah.
Oh, have you done it more than one? Oh, there you go.
I was the youngest female to run in the Eurobodalla.
Oh, there you go.
Very impressive.
Do you understand the system?
Or
I'm not going to quiz you.
A bit. Don't quiz
so
me.
You can say yes.
But I understand the gist of it.
But if you stand at a polling booth, which you either love or hate, and I love it. It's just it's an amazing, and some people do love it. I hate the whole crowding onto people but I love the sort of just talking to people about how you vote, even just the explanation and the ability to vote for someone who is probably not going to win, but you have the opportunity to put your power behind someone you want and the next person you might want. I think it's a great system. There's flaws in it like anything, but
I just wish it was digital because I feel like everyone would vote.
Absolutely.
If it was digital.
Absolutely. And you couldn't then draw a penis.
No.
Oh, how many
You
of
would
those
have
do you reckon
to
we
vote.
get?
Or write the person you hate on
Yes,
your form.
yes.
No, I think we are, we forget we've been, as Western society, we're so far detached from war and poverty to an extent. There's people in poverty, but nothing like what there is in the third world. We take it for granted, and
It's such a privilege.
yeah, incredible.
Yeah. So if there was one thing you could change for small businesses in the Eurobodalla, what would it be?
I think we've proven that small business, especially in the Eurobodalla, can handle adversity and natural disasters and all these things that are thrown at it. I think it's the uncertainty of the future. And I think small business needs certainty. Landowners need that to invest. Banks need it to lower interest rates. And I think all those things sort of come together. And there'll be a lot of small business right now that are struggling. Even though we've had a great summer, you don't know what's to come in a month, because you could have a week of bad weather and no one comes to the coast. You could have shark attacks and no one wants to go to the beaches. And that will hurt us. I mean, most of my coffee accounts have had record summers. Wow. I spoke to them 10 days after Christmas. But you then say a week of 18 degrees and 50 mils of rain every day, and then you got 4 shark attacks in 2 days. And do people who were going to come to the coast still want to come to the coast because they can't get in the ocean at the moment? So there's all these factors that you could be on such a high, and then that instantly it could be killed tomorrow. There could be international political things that are happening in other places around the world that could impact Australia's interest rates, and that changes everything. So I think certainty, from a council perspective, it's about what are we doing to make sure that our 3 main centres are going to be moving forward in the direction that's going to give a business certainty to stay there, to renew their lease.
Yeah.
You want less red tape, and you want the ability to have a clear decision made. When you have a question, you just want to be able to go to someone and get the answer, not send an email that gets sent to someone else and then wait because they're on holidays for a week. And those things are things that I'm really pushing hard, and we have been changing at council since I've been in there, about being more hospitable is the way I sort of characterize it, that we are the intermediary. We're there to support the community. That is our goal. And so it's everything from when you walk in, it's how do we greet you? It's that touch point. It's how do we support you in getting the answer that you need? You're not always going to like it. That's just the reality. But it's giving you certainty and quickly. And that's all that I think as a small business owner, that's all I want. If I'm looking at a premise that I want to go in and I'm going to have to change the use, I want to know what's it going to cost me? How long is it going to take? And can it be done? And I don't want to wait 3 weeks to find that out, because the prices are just going up on things. And from the moment I sign that lease to getting open, if I've got to do DAs, if I've got to do fit outs, I want to know that I'm going to be able to get things done so that I can operate, because I don't have $1 million behind me of investor money to just keep throwing at it. And I think for a lot of small business, it's just about that certainty that you've got, the council's got their back. I want to see nighttime entertainment in Batemans Bay. I want to see lively town centres.
I want dancing.
I think the huge majority of the community want that as well.
Yeah.
There will always be someone who doesn't. And that's just, at some stage you have to say, you shouldn't live in a town centre if you don't want noise. And
Amen.
my approach to that is, we just have to be clear about how we reach decisions. We have to be open to the conversation, open to how we're having that consultation with the community, show that it's being done. Consultation doesn't mean you get your way. It means that you had your voice heard. Because every time we put something on consultation, there's always people on both sides. So someone's going to lose and someone's going to win. But I think it's just, as long as you're very transparent in that process and you have that conversation with the people who are against it. And I've always found that those are the people I like talking to anyway, because the people who are on your side just want to tell you that you're doing a great job. And, oh, this is great. You're so good. I want to hear from the people who hate me, who think that I'm doing a terrible job, who hate what I'm doing, and find out why, and see if we can't find a happy medium, or at least they can't hear my point of view and say, well, we just disagree. And that is what it is sometimes.
And that's human nature, really.
And we need more of that.
Yeah, that's what makes it so interesting. Yeah.
Does it get to you personally sometimes? Like, you know, when something is put out there and obviously you've gotten behind it and then you do, you know, we were.
Are you on the notice board?
Yeah. You know.
I'm tagged sometimes.
What was recently?
I don't even know.
The camels.
Oh, the camels.
The camels.
Can we talk about the camels?
Yeah, go on. Because it's right in my
It's a very
face.
interesting one. So a lot of this goes back to people don't understand the processes that happen at council.
Yeah.
If you were a camel farmer and you thought to yourself, I want to put camels on a beach and give rides because I can make money. It's a business.
Like you look at Broome.
How do I do that? You would go to somewhere that has a beach and you go to the local council and say, I'd like to put camels on your beach. Can I do that? Council, their responsibility is to say, here is a DA, lodge this, put the paperwork in. We're going to receive it. We have to. We're going to put it out on exhibition. And then we will take comments and then we will make a decision based around all these different variables. So we have to do all of that.
Camels.
The legalities is we can't say no to the camel operator, whether we agree or not.
Yeah, you can't just go, nope.
So there's this thinking in the community that, if council's put it out there, they've already made the decision.
Yeah.
We have to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Honestly, that's not something that comes to the mayor to make it, or the councilors to decide.
What do you think about this one, Matt?
Yeah. So obviously, I've been tagged in a couple of the posts.
Because, you know, you get lots of bribes. This is what they think.
Of course.
What if I slip you an extra 100? Can I have my camels?
So because you posted about the camels, it's approved.
That's right. And so it's the same as the Mina the gorilla.
Yeah.
You know?
I was going to say, poor Mina.
Now the wren in Narooma. I've seen a big post about the wren on the bike.
I was there today having lunch next to it. It was beautiful. There's so many kids there taking photos.
Yeah.
Again, there's always going to be people who hate it. So I guess the camels are a great example of like, we can't stop a private business that happens to be a camel operator who wants to do it. And I would say, find me a tourist who comes to this region and says it's a bad idea. There will be none. Find me a local, I can find you some.
Yeah.
But there's also locals who love it. There'll be some that say, I don't want it, but I'd love to take my kids to it. So can you do it somewhere else? And I get that idea that, hey, that's just a bad location for it. So tell them to do it, somewhere else. So let's pick some random beach. Someone said the beach near the airport. Now, how many tourists are going to travel there?
They're not.
Or are they going to see it? So you're running a business. As a business operator, you want to be somewhere where there's already people.
Yeah.
So it always comes back for me to put yourself in their shoes. Put yourself in the business operator's shoes and say, where would you want to do it? Of course, that's where you would do it. That or maybe the foreshore in Bateman's Bay. Where there's
And like they're only saying we don't want that. Well, not only, but like 9 times out of 10, they're only saying that because it's right in their face, right?
Yeah, they wouldn't care if
They wouldn't care if it was on Maria Beach where no one could see.
Okay, I don't like to say no one, but I'll say pretty convincing majority.
Yeah.
No one from Dalmini.
No,
was
complaining. The camels.
Right. So you do have to take that into account because
I live on Beach Road and look over Corrigan's and I didn't object it.
there are people who
Cool.
I know, cool.
there were, because Mina kind of appeared overnight.
Yes.
It didn't. This is the beautiful thing is there was consultation. We had pop-ups. Nobody comes.
No.
Nobody reads the website. So and I know these things happen and I look ahead and go, when that gorilla shows up, so many people are going to not know that it's coming.
Yeah.
It's going to make some news. Boy, did it make some news.
Yeah.
National news.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I did national ABC live from Mina.
That is hilarious.
But I had, a business across the street contact me and say, what is going on? Is this a gorilla? Because they were there while it was getting craned in and it was wrapped at the time. And funnily enough, this person said, I'll try to be confidential as possible. She wouldn't care, so I'll say she. Said, is this because you have gorilla roasters? And I'm like, no, those are two different. Animal gorilla and our brand is completely separate to them, but it's got nothing to do with that, obviously. And there's a larger story to be told around all the sculptures once they come in. But she was not stoked about it when it was getting craned in because she's like, it's in my view and now I see it. But
I'm sorry.
very next day, she's like, it's the best.
Because people come.
There's like 200 people every day at the gorilla, and I see this person all the time. We're good friends. And she said, like literally every day there's a queue of people, of tourists
at the gorilla,
lining up to take a photo with the gorilla, and that's all
Australians
that
love.
That's all that matters.
Things.
When I see the they do, and and I tagged the Coffs Harbour mayor in one of the posts saying we should do a collab with the banana.
Yes.
You bring it down, I'll bring the gorilla up. Listen,
It's in your truck.
you quickly learn that with every single decision, someone's affected and isn't happy. Everything. And sometimes it's just one person, but you have to put yourself in that person's shoes and say, it could be a landholder who's the one person that you're affecting, and they're not happy because either they're losing something or, they're just against it. With every decision you, as a councillor, you're supposed to put the whole community, not because the people of Bait Haven or because I live at Tomakin, the people at Tomakin don't want it. It's not about protecting your patch. It's about what is the best decision for the whole community and the best value for money, because every dollar we spend is tax money. And I always keep that at the forefront because I don't want my taxes going up. I don't want my rates going up. I'm the same as everyone else. I've got a huge mortgage. So I want everything to stay low. And luckily we live regionally where every councillor lives here locally. They're all in the same boat. They all want to support their community. Arguably if you live in I'm just being vague here, but like Bodalla, and there's no councillor at Bodalla, so I can say Bodalla. You would really think about decisions made at Bodalla because you're down the shops and you have people and you're here from Bodalla. But ultimately, you're supposed to take a step back from that. Because most of the decisions we make aren't affecting tomorrow. It's affecting our children. And that's the decisions we should really be focused on. Whether a gorilla goes in or a wren or anything. It's here today, gone tomorrow. No one's talking about it anymore, except Nina. They still post it constantly. But it's the big stuff that we should be focused on.
When I just want to take you back to like when you did get elected, what was that feeling like? Like, did you feel immense pressure, pride? How did you process that? When your peers get together and
it's so weird. It's so. And people always say, "What's it like to be mayor?" What would it be like if you were mayor tomorrow? That's what it's like. Because
just the one day
I didn't think all my life I'm going to be the mayor. I was running cafes and and like I knew Emily for many years. It's like in the next minute, my wife will say I would have never done it if I didn't think I could win. I kind of disagree with her. I understand why she says that, and I guess I go into everything thinking that I'm going to put everything into it.
You do 110%.
Yeah. But you're ultimately standing against some people who've been there for a long time, and there's a lot of people, and you can only know so many people in the area, and it's very hard to get cut through in people at Tilba if you've never been to Tilba or don't know anyone there and things like that. So you never know how it's going to land. The night of in 2021, we all got together because it's a very long day. It's it's 5 a.m. till 7 p.m. when they close, and then we got together, we went for drinks. And we started watching the results. And then, 11 o'clock comes and you don't really know a result. But by that stage, because I'd really studied the way preferential voting went, I started drawing the lines and saying, if percentages stand up, I've got a very good shot. So I went to sleep not knowing. And the next day, I kind of knew. Even though it wasn't done, I kind of looked at the numbers and it's going to be very hard not to get it. So for a couple of days, you kind of know, but it's not final. And I knew that on the last day when they were going to announce it, I left the house that morning. I couldn't sleep, got up early, went for a coffee, drove, funny enough, and drove up to Mossy Point Headland. We were roasting at Mossy Cafe at that stage. So I went to Mossy and got a coffee and drove up there. And I just sat at the headland, and it was like, I think it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. And I was just kind of waiting. And the phone rang, and it was a Maria number, and it was the general manager of the council. And she's like, "Congratulations, you're the mayor. I just wanted to call you and congratulate you. You can come in and come to your office and get the keys. I'd never been in there before. So I was like, okay, no worries. So weird.
What do I
It's
wear?
so weird. Well, so they were like, and media team would like to do an interview with you because you're the youngest mayor. So I just drove straight in because I didn't know anything. And I was in a t-shirt and shorts. So there's this terrible image I hate of me in the park at Maria laughing with a t-shirt on and a mic, and it still makes its round. Like ABC will pull it and use it in a piece or something. Oh. And it was just me in a gray t-shirt and shorts. And I went into council and she walks me down the hallway and she's like, here's your office. And it's got like a sign that says mayor on it. And I parked in the normal car park and I walked to the front desk. I was like, hi, I'm
the mayor.
I'm the mayor. I need to get But it really is that weird, because I hadn't ever been in there. I've only been to a couple of council meetings just to see what it was like. And I went to the front desk and they walked me upstairs and I went to the office. And then she literally was like, here's your office. I'll be down in mine if you need me. I go in and I just sit there and I'm in this office and there's no KPIs. There's no like, here's the things that you need to get done. There's nothing. There is nothing. So it's like, what would you like to achieve? Well,
you're like, can we get a whiteboard in here?
and by that stage, the counselors hadn't been announced. So I didn't even know who you kind of know most of them.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of tell, but there'll always be some that come in last minute and get dragged in. And I was like, well, I'm going to phone the people who lost. So I tried to phone everyone and say,
Sorry.
You're going to be a counselor. And I look forward to working. Because I had met with every one of them before.
I am the mayor now.
No, I've always been.
Sucks to be you.
No. I made it a point before the election to meet with every one of them and say, listen, we're all running against each other. But ultimately, it's not I win or somebody wins and you lose. It's
about the community.
We all have the same vote power. The only difference between a counselor and me is they don't get tagged in things online. They have the same power. I chair the meeting and that's it. And I think that's another thing the community often forgets is I can say I'm going to do things. I can get elected, but unless 5 people or 4 people vote with me, it doesn't get up. And so the pressure is on the council to vote or to work together to get an outcome. Yeah. And just because I want to see something, I know that you've got all these different emotions in the background that are working and different communities that are pushing their councillor in their area to not support it. So you're constantly working together, which is great, to try to come to an outcome. I hate 5-4 votes. I hate 6-3 votes. I like 7-2s are better because I think unanimous is good, but it's a tough thing as well because inevitably you just have differing views of the world and the way things should go, which is great, but you need to talk to each other. And we have a very healthy council. We don't have people yelling and fighting and screaming at each other. We have group chats and it's not as fun as what you see on TV. It's not as fun as what you see on some of the other shires around as well. And we're very lucky for that. We're lucky that our problems are mean to the gorilla and camels on the beach. We've got financial worries, but they're nothing like a lot of other regional councils. So those things like camels, I guess they don't keep me up at night, but they are the things, sometimes they're the things that people care the most about. Yeah. And it's, you have to weigh that up with the greater good and know that you're going to piss someone off.
Yeah.
All the time. Even your best friends sometimes. Yeah. My mother-in-law, because they just aren't happy about it. And I had a guy, actually, it was about the camels. He I hope you're listening. He emailed me. He rang me, left me a voicemail. 3 hours later, rang me, left me a voicemail. Text me. Emailed me again.
Wow.
Because my stuff are public, and he just was very passionate about it. Completely opposed to it because he walks his dog there. It's the one thing he can get out and do because he's a bit older, and he doesn't want to have that interaction. So I get it. Everyone's got their own perspective.
He's worried a camel's going to get him, or
I think
or his dog.
There's probably not, in my opinion, there's probably not enough information.
I don't think camels attack dogs.
No, but I think dogs get attacked.
And then they
just get trampled.
That's what I envisaged.
This is done on other places. It's not. This is not the first time.
We're not the first time
but
camel rides.
I think there's probably not enough information for the public if they've got questions around like fencing and things.
Yeah, the camels aren't going to be wandering around.
But the council just puts out what the business has put forward. So it's just kind of, it is what it is. And I don't even know where that's up to. It hasn't, I think submissions just closed before Christmas. So it's still with staff. So staff will review all the submissions. They'll present it. It probably won't come to councillors for a vote. It's something that would just be done. If you look at it like anything like this from the other side, as a community member, let's say you live at Dalmeny in a room or whatever, and you have no care in the world about it. Ultimately, that business would pay council to use its land. And as a ratepayer, that's how council makes money. We charge to use facilities that are public because we have to upkeep them. And we need income in order to fix holes and relay sod at ovals. And that's why you charge footy teams to use the oval, is because they tear it up and then you have to replace it. You don't get enough, but there's a little bit of a kickback. So when Red Hot Summer Tour or someone like that comes to town, we charge them a lot of money to use a facility like that so that we can fix other issues around the Shire. So when a business approaches council and says, I want to use public land that you manage, I want to pay you money, as a council, we have to think about, do we need the money? And could we use that money to fix other problems? So that's why sometimes it's not necessarily about the camel for me. It's about, is it the right thing to do? The rodeo is another one. Is it legal? Are we getting money for it? And should we be stopping any organization from doing something that's legal if they're willing to pay us money that's going to fix problems in our Shire?
What, people don't want the rodeo?
Oh, the rodeo is a big topic every 5 years, because there are people who are against the animal rights. There's also, there's inevitable issues with any topic. So, definitely don't want to single out the rodeo, because you could get all sorts of people commenting on you.
Goodness.
But there's a very passionate group of people who are totally against it. But ultimately, for me as a counsellor, it's legal. It's a legal activity, sport, that's done in New South Wales. It is banned in other states. And that's their argument. But it's not in New South Wales, is my argument. And ultimately, I'm here to get the best value for money for the ratepayer. That's my job. So if they're going to pay us whatever the number is to use our facilities for a weekend, why would a council say no to taking money where we could take that money, whatever it is, and fix the local footy oval? So sometimes you have to weigh all those things up and just feel the heat. The heat will go away. There's always the next thing.
Yeah.
Very good. I love your mindset.
Yeah. Oh.
Next time I'm feeling the heat, I might just knock on your door. I need a pep talk.
Just tag me on Facebook. And I think there'll be people, I get tagged so much. There's times where I just shut off from Facebook for weeks at a time, because it gets you get inundated.
Yes.
And you can lose touch with what you're supposed to be doing, because it's not responding to sometimes I'll have a couple hours where I just go, you know what? I'm responding to everything. And when I do that, I get messages, is that really you? Do you have someone who does that for you? Because I will just really get on there and have a go. Yeah. And I enjoy it, but you can get in that echo chamber of negativity. And I think online, Facebook in particular, I saw it with Mina in particular. If someone makes a negative post about it on the notice board, because you had this random thought of, hey, I'm going to take a photo of this and tell people I hate it, I'm going to post it on the notice board, it just negative.
Yeah.
But if I post, look at this fantastic sculpture that was donated. Yes, it cost $27,000 for all the sculptures to be installed over 12 months. But we got $1.6 million in sculptures donated and transported here. I think that's a good thing. You don't have to agree. No. You don't have to even like it. You could think that a pelican would be a better idea. Yeah. I don't think the idea of putting a starfish or a pelican at the coast is needed. We're here. We know. There's a bigger story about the island. So, so sometimes I'll respond, sometimes I won't. But I think those types of things, if you push positivity, you get it. If you look at that post on my page, it was positive 90%.
And I often think a lot of those people that are writing negative comments, as if they would ever say it in that tone, to that level, to your face.
Never. Not one time.
Exactly.
I have never, ever, I'll say never. One time someone approached me it was at the Eurobodalla show, which is coming up this weekend. This is going to be aired later. Eurobodalla show. Great event every year.
It would have went great.
Yeah. Great. It did go great. Painting contests, like really good regional event. He approached me, I think it was about the rodeo. And he was really upset because he thought it was going to get cancelled. But ultimately it comes back to that. Council has to accept anything it's given. So if someone wants to protest against the rodeo, that's fine. And we have to allow that. And we need to allow that. It doesn't mean though that council agrees or disagrees. It's just we have to, as a council, be independent and let everyone have their say, and then let councillors make the decision. And once I explained that to them, the tempers came down and we had a good conversation. That's the only time in 5 years I've ever had someone come to me and say something negative. Outside of like, oh, my DA's taking too long, the classic. Which, and quite often I find that that's because of they're waiting on the RFS to finish something or something. There's always nuance.
It's not you personally.
I won't say it's not. I mean, listen, we're short on planners. That's a statewide issue or a nation issue. There is never, I'm not going to sit here and say we're perfect. We're not. We can always get better. But I think everyone in there is working their tail off to be perfect. And we're constantly trying to adjust as best you can as a government body to be flexible and work for the community. And sometimes that's owning our mistakes. And I love doing that. I think it's great. I think that's what I would want in a mayor or any leader to say, you know what, we made that decision, even if it was years ago, and say, we think different now, or maybe we made a mistake. And you have to be that. You have to be able to own those problems.
Yeah. Do you ever when it gets personal? Do you find that hard to?
I don't anymore.
No?
My wife does.
Yeah.
My mother back in America does. Because you can imagine.
They're protective over you.
Firstly, my mom, she's been to Australia 4 times. She's completely disconnected from what it's like to live here and day to day, and all she sees is my son's moved to Australia. He's now the mayor of this
little town,
and Shire, and so she comes here, and when we go out, I take her out to a restaurant, and everyone's like, "Oh, your son's doing such a good job." So she's super proud, right?
Oh, that's so.
And then she gets on Facebook.
Oh no!
Why are they hating you? And I'm like, it's always an extreme minority of people. And quite often, I know for a fact that it's one person with 3 accounts talking to themselves.
Or it's a fake account.
There's so many anonymous accounts. I think really with social media, I'd love to have a platform where you have to show ID to be on it. Yeah. And you have to own the name. It has to be your name and your picture, and it has to be updated every 30 days, just like dating apps should be. Every 30 days you should have to update your photo. No catfishing. And own it. Because I think you'd have better conversation. Yeah. And you wouldn't have this crazy negativity.
People get so mad.
People get so riled up.
I never
and I love, I tell you, I've got so many voicemails that I ring it straight away. I ring, if you don't do this, please. But I get people who get so frustrated. Right. And the thing is, they feel like they have no outlet to other than Facebook. And now, the mayor, he responds. He will respond. He responds to people. So I'll ring him and leave him a voicemail. And sometimes I just answer, random phone calls that ring in. Hey, hello, Matt speaking. Oh, I didn't think you were going to answer. And they're just so dumbfounded by it. Or I ring them back straight away after I listen to the voicemail. And I let them get it out. And then we have sometimes an hour-long conversation. I love it. I just love it. And they come around. Yeah. And the guy that was talking about with the camels, he thanked me at the end and said, you know what? Even if council approves it, I'm happy that I was listened to and you have my point of view. Because I just explained it's not about my decision. I don't get to make the decision. Because sometimes it's such a small thing in the bigger puzzle that's a stuff ultimately. Unless the council lawyers decided to bring it to council. But I just, I think it's about having healthier conversations, and we're allowing it to go down the drain, where we're seeing it on the world scale, how bad it can get in other first world countries. And we're sort of allowing ourselves to go down this two-party divisive, either you're with me or you're against me, instead of just having healthy debate, which I think the overwhelming majority of people want. Free thinking, independent politicians who just have conversation and are common sense approach.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, is there any funny perks or quirks of being the mayor that you can tell us about?
No. There was when I hear that, the one thing that comes to mind recently was I schedule a lot of, especially in December, you have all the schools have end of year functions, and I try to get to every one of them, but inevitably they override or they get close. So you're leaving one and racing to the next one. and you can't. You can never find a park. I hate preferential treatment.
Yeah.
I'll always go straight to the back of the queue. The last thing I know what it's like to see the politician. I know what it feels like to think, oh, bloody politician. So I go straight to the back. Whenever I go to an event, I host an event, I'm the last one to get fed. I hate it because I know other people will see me and go, oh, of course she's getting this food first. Yeah. But one of the schools put parking, like reserve parking, and put my name on it. And I didn't know, they didn't tell me. So I parked down the street, and as I'm pulling up, a friend of mine whose kids go there texts me a photo of him and goes, of course you would. Of course you would get your own car spot. And so I had just literally closed my door and was walking up, looked at my phone and saw it. I was like, I think I'm going to take it this time. Yeah. So I jumped back in the car because it was like 300-400 meters, and I was right on time, needing to be there. But outside of that, there's perks, I guess. But I think the big thing for me is I really try to stay grounded. I think it's important that you continue to be in touch and nothing changes. So to me, I haven't changed at all. I just put a different hat on and go to work. But I did realize after sort of 6 months in there, because I tried to really be super relaxed about it all. But I think as I'm in there and my views change on certain topics, and I do view it differently. I think kids view it differently. I think kids want to have a mayor, something they look up to.
Can you please...
Oh my, do you want me to tell this?
Can you please tell the story? Because
you have a mayor
like
story,
this.
don't you?
No, you'll like this.
I have a 4-year-old. I have an 18-month-old and a nearly 4-year-old, and he's Paw Patrol crazy. And so this morning I said, buddy, you need to pack up all your toys because I'm doing the podcast today. And guess what? I'm interviewing the mayor. And he was like, Mayor Humdinger? And I'm sorry, but it was very disappointed when I said that it wasn't actually Mayor Humdinger.
Can you ask him to do me a picture of Mayor Humdinger? And I'll put it on my wall behind my next video that I shoot after the council meeting. I love going into the schools. That is the biggest perk because you really see, I think there's this disdain for government in the overall in the world.
Yeah.
But I think we just have this view of you're a politician.
But particularly Aussies.
Yeah.
We're
and it's so weird because even people I know, they're like, oh, you get in there, we're going to vote for you because you're going to change things. You get in there. And then the moment you're left oh, you're just a politician.
I didn't even change.
I'm literally the same person as yesterday.
I popped up in my shorts.
I had an MP say to me, oh, you wore shorts to a photo shoot. I was like, I'm at the coast. This is
what we wear.
But I do think, kids need that to look up to. And a lot of sort of that 16 to 24 range, people tell me, I remember meeting the mayor when I was 5. Yeah. So we do the mayor's writing competition and other competitions for environmental calendars. Yeah. When I go to those, it's so great to see the interaction because I have 2 young kids. They're both, we're in primary now, one's in high school.
Yeah.
I love going to their schools and just interacting with the kids and having fun. And I think it's great to see that generation being able to interact. Yeah. So we've brought in something else we did a couple of years ago. The school approached us and I loved it. So we've now opened it up to all schools that we bring them into the council and we'd run mock council meetings and let them come into the office and have a hit of my putter. And, just really, nobody, when's the last time you went to a council meeting?
Yeah, exactly.
Never.
Yeah.
You would have been.
Yeah.
But most people have never entered the council chambers. And I think it's breaking that barrier down of saying, this is what council is actually here to do and this is what it's like. And we've got all the live streams and things and people do watch it, but
how do you juggle all the businesses you've got your fingers in with the kids and family and
do you separate your time
the
same each week or
I'm super intrigued how you juggle it all.
Going back to before I was elected the first time, everyone said there's no way you can do all that you do and do this or you can't give it the comment. So instantly the moment someone said that to me I was like, oh, challenge accepted.
Yeah, doing it.
And then I did a radio interview with the local radio station at Maria and the woman there asked me, you do all these things, how can you tell the listeners how you're going to manage your time? And I didn't really have an answer other than I'm going to do it. I know I'll just make it work. And I sort of put it down to I have a fantastic wife who manages the home and she teaches locally at the local school and she gets the kids to school and they go to her class afterwards and hang out if they need to. And my mother-in-law helps with getting them to some sports sometimes. We've got great friends around us that have kids the same age, so they support us as well because they know that there's the running joke is that I'm never around, but I'm always around. I'm at everything, but only for a little bit to get to the next one. And then with business, I just have chosen fantastic business partners. And when I go into something like Bar Something that's opening soon, it was important to communicate that and be upfront that 10 years ago, if I was going to open a bar, I was going to be in there every day working it. I can't do that now. And there's almost this level of, I think people would not necessarily want to see me in there. They kind of do, but then they're like, why is the mayor pouring drink? So it has to be this step back from it. And I don't want anything I do to impact on my businesses or my business partners, because ultimately it's them and their families as well. So just that communication of how it will work, how the existing businesses work, how the ones going forward will work with how much I can actually do. And it's, to me and my wife and my partners know that like council comes first. That's the community expects that. I expect that of myself. And I would never, ever want to think that I would put a business, like, oh, I've got to go to this for work over a business. Over a council. I think I know how lucky I am there are very few mayors. There are very few people who get to do it. And I will never disrespect the office. I will never take for granted that I've been elected twice popularly. Like that's huge. That's very rare this day and age as well. And to get double the votes almost, it's the confidence that I've been given by the community to continue. It's like, it's double down. It's like, go even harder. It's make sure that you're making an impact. Make sure that when, no matter what I'm doing, I'm there. The phone goes down, it gets away. I'm not at the dinner table checking my phone, although my wife and kids will tell you that I do. From time to time, there's certain things that happen with disasters, but you've got to be reachable for council. I've always got my phone on me, no matter what, it's always on. Everyone at council has my private number as well. They know that no matter what, day or night, 24 hours, contact me. I don't ever want someone in the community that elected me to think that I'm not doing something for them and doing something else for myself instead. So it's just that balance. I tell people you'll often find me at 2 a.m. in the roastery, packing coffee,
that's
responding to emails, because town's asleep and I can get work done. I don't like sleep that much. I really enjoy what I do. I really, really enjoy what I do every day. So it's just that constant juggle. There is no ratio though.
Finally, do you have a quote that you live by?
Love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I love that.
I just, from the moment I arrived, I moved here back in 2002. I keep saying 20 years ago, but it keeps getting longer. I've spent more time in Australia now than I did in America. But my wife's from Tomakin originally, so we came here. Then we went to Canberra, went overseas, back to Canberra, and then came back down here in 2013. And that's when I got my citizenship as well. And at that stage, we decided to stay. It was like, go all in and do something that you love doing, because I think we are in the luckiest country in the world. You can do what you love and make a living. And as long as money doesn't drive you, because sometimes the living doesn't, but you're doing what you love. And I never hate getting out of bed. I hate going to bed. I love, what's the next thing? Let's do some more of it. And I just think we're in such a lucky position where we are in the Shire for growth for the long term. And it's just finding that happy medium between the growth that I might want and what the community I want and what the business community wants and what tourists want versus my mother-in-law who's been here for 50 years and may not want the same growth that I do. So it's finding all of those balances and trying to communicate it and work forward to a good spot.
Thanks so much for joining us, Matt.
Thank you.
It's been a great chat. Thanks so much for tuning in today.
And go and like and subscribe to all of our channel or our podcast channel. Leave us a 5-star review. Follow us on Instagram. Hopefully on YouTube soon.
Because it helps us grow and helps more people get our podcast in their ears.
And go and see Minna.
Take a photo with Minna and get a coffee from nearby.
Tag us.
Tag us and tag me.
Yeah, definitely. We'll share it.
Catch ya.
See you next time.
Bye.
Before we let you go, a quick shout out to the two businesses getting behind this episode. Gorilla Roasters for your mornings, really good coffee, no nonsense, and Bar Something, a new bar opening soon in Maria that's all about good drinks, great atmosphere, and bringing people together. If coffee or a drink with friends is part of your routine, go and check them out. And definitely follow Bar Something on Instagram so you don't miss their opening. All right, we're out. See you next time.